As big brands and other businesses look to expand their reach, more and more are focusing their efforts on social media through sites such as MySpace, Twitter, and the most well-known and most enduring, Facebook. Today, the percentage of posts viewable through so-called organic viewing has decreased dramatically. This means that for the majority of brand pages, only 2% of their posts will be viewable from the newsfeed, without paying for them. We spoke to Neil McKee of Stance Media to understand the reasons for the change.
In short, there's a vast amount of content on social media these days, and to ensure that every user gets as much relevant, interesting content as they can, it's necessary that Facebook is filtered. If a user starts seeing things that they're not particularly interested in, or not, and sort of things they would talk about in their social groups or things they search for on a day-to-day basis, then really they would probably switch off from social media. So keeping it relevant is really important. Facebook places relevance on the content that your friends groups are talking about. It plays relevance on the age of content, and it plays a huge amount of relevance on how people interact with that content. So, for example, if within your friends group there are a group of friends or people you're friends with on Facebook, if they like and comment, basically interact with content, that gets a higher, more prominence within the feed of the user. So you have, if a business has accumulated 1,000 likes or 10,000 or 1,000,000 likes, then that's great, but you have to continually keep talking to people in a way that, and to your customers or your fans or your friends in a way they want to be talked to. So spending time and investing time and money in content that people are going to be interested in, whether it's images or videos or other text that goes with it, is far more important than the actual advertising and generating likes. Those other two things come naturally from generating good content.
Advertising is certainly an issue, but just how aware are businesses to the changes being made to Facebook's legislation? We spoke to Mark Bellington, owner of Bellingtons of Lindsay, to gain his perspective.
Okay, social media is a key part of our marketing strategy, mainly because it allows us to reach out to the local audience, and primarily it's hitting people that like the shop already and know what we're about. So it's a way for me to get in our events out there and letting people know what's happening and what's coming up in the store. We tend to boost a lot of our Facebook posts. We've got a small budget that we spend on doing that, and that's just a way to try and get to a wider circle of people. I wasn't aware of the new rules, if you like, that Facebook are bringing in, and the organic reach isn't as much as it used to be. I'm certainly not aware that they're looking to charge us more money. As it is, the boosts we think can be quite costly and they can add up, especially if you leave them running for a week or so. So I wasn't aware that they were thinking of changing that, and I certainly wasn't aware that the organic reach is going to go down. What would happen on, financially, if it got much more expensive, I think that we would probably use it a lot less, and maybe switch to different portals. We're trying to build up our in-house database as well, so I would find if Facebook was starting to charge a lot more and it wasn't getting the reach that it was, I think we would probably tend to sort of switch away from it, yeah.
Advertising may be less of a problem for those with more money behind them, but for much smaller pages like up-and-coming Glasgow Metal and Blackwork, finding disposable income for advertising is no easy task. Glasgow's music scene may be a vibrant one, but it is also at a point of saturation, and artists need all the help they can get to get their name out there. We spoke to guitarist Chris Dunn to see exactly how Facebook's advertising conditions affect them.
How much do you think it actually gets the message out there?
I would say it depends on how many times you do it. I'd say the amount of times that we've done it in the past is probably the right amount. It seems to actually get noticed, but if you were to do it too many times, I think it's just a waste of time.
Blackwork were kind enough to allow me to look at some of their page insights, which clearly illustrate a marked difference in reach. For example, a paid post has an enormous reach of over 2,000 people, 10 times the size of the organic reach, whereas an unpaid post can have less than half the organic reach. Similar effects can be seen in who interacts with the page, where likes have quadrupled on their paid post and comments have doubled. So is there an alternative?
I would say that it's probably better to do things in real life, because really that's where people actually come to experience music. Nobody's really going to there's not going to be a vast amount of people become a fan of a band just from Facebook likes and that kind of thing. It's a good way to gauge how successful a band is from time to time. but it's probably better off if the performances are good, ticket prices are down, and they're fairly spaced apart.